Okay, Ms. Abigail, we're ready to begin. Mr. Leon's here for your client, okay?
Good morning.
Okay. Okay, everybody say a few words, then let Mr. Leon talk and just go back and forth. So, okay, this is our status hearing this morning. I did not get a report.
Entonces,
Don't know exactly what's going on. So, Mr. Baker, if you can just paraphrase and let us know what's up, please.
Sure, Judge. I'm not sure that we actually have a CVS worker assigned to this case. I think Miss Millaway is taking the lead per our conversation yesterday, for now anyway. I've spoke with Miss Millaway yesterday, and I've read some emails from Mr. Wood, and I think the thing that really needs to be addressed at the top of this is whether this court is the proper court for this case to begin with, or whether it needs to be transferred to Harris County. Your Honor, I believe Miss Gonzalez, while she's in San Saba today, I think she resides in Harris County.
Así es, vivo en Houston.
she says, that's right, I live in Houston.
The father does not live in San Saba County, and the child is placed here. But the email I read from Mr. Wood indicated that placement is very temporary.
Él vive en Florida.
Yeah, the father lives in Florida.
Okay. So, Judge, this case got transferred to us from Williamson County, I believe. And I think the reason it was transferred here was simply because the child was placed here.
Así es. Como vivíamos en San Saba antes, lo transfirieron. Bueno, eso fue lo que me comentó la trabajadora social, que lo estaban transfiriendo a San Saba porque ahí había vivido la niña los últimos 90 días. Y porque la persona que ahorita tiene a mi niña es mi cuñada Diana. Por ese motivo se trasladó a San Saba.
The case was transferred to San Saba because we had lived there. And from what the social worker told me, the fact that San Saba had been our last prior residence was the reason that they decided to move it to San Saba. We had lived here in the past, and the person with whom the child resides right now is my sister-in-law, who lives in San Saba.
So, Miss Millaway, am I correct that this placement is temporary?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and is the department looking into other placements? And if so, who are they and where are they located?
Con una hermana del papá de la niña en Houston.
They're considering a sister.
Mr. Leon, if you don't, I'm asking Miss Millaway with CPS some questions.
I'm trying to answer when the.
But hold on, Mr. Baker. The mom said something, and Mr. Leon is translating that. I need to know what she said.
Fair enough.
Mom said that she felt that the alternative. Usted dijo que era otra vez lo que nos dijo es que la niña actualmente está con su
4 o 5 horas hasta San Saba y por 2 horas, entonces prácticamente estoy 12 horas de ida y vuelta.
Says that the issue, Your Honor, is that she spends probably 12 hours, she says, between driving from Houston to San Saba and then spending 2 hours there and then another 4 hours back. So she spends practically all day for a 2-hour visit.
Okay, here's the deal. Go on. I'm sorry, Mr. Leon.
Go ahead, John.
I don't transfer cases until I know that the county that y'all want to transfer the case to is going to accept it. I have lots of parents that have to travel all over Texas to see their kids.
Sí, yo entiendo eso, pero ¿Cómo decirle? Pues mi cuñada, apenas se acaba de enterar que está embarazada, entonces también encargarse de la niña. Ahorita mi mamá vino desde México para poder ayudarle y pues
My sister-in-law just found out that she is pregnant, and my mother came up from Mexico to help her a bit because my sister-in-law has just found out that she is pregnant, and it's going to become difficult to take care of the child.
Got it. But what I said, that's the way it is. So, Mr. Baker, you'll need to call Harris County DA's office, County Attorney's office. That's who does them down there, and see if they'll accept this case.
Entonces, señor Baker, usted va a tener que hablar con
otra cosa, o sea, los servicios, igual también le he dicho a la trabajadora social de que me los diera y apenas el viernes que me los entregó, pero la posibilidad de ponérmelos en Houston y apenas el viernes se me entregaron. Y pues a mí también se me complica venir a realizarlos hasta Round Rock.
I've also got, I mentioned to the social worker that we had talked that the services were going to be we're going to take place somewhere that it was local, because right now the services have been assigned, are going to be delivered in Houston, and not in Houston, in Round Rock, and that makes it very difficult to make a round trip to go to Round Rock for the services.
Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say about this. The services are not going to be in Round Rock. If she lives in Houston, they're going to be in Houston. You can tell her that.
Dice la juez que usted no se apure, que si usted es residente de Houston, los servicios se le van a proporcionar en Houston.
Sí, eso era lo que...
Yeah, because how can they be, I cannot travel to Round Rock every week.
I got that. I'm ordering the department to set up services in Houston. This is no different than any other case where the parents don't live in our area.
Yo le estoy ordenando al departamento que le proporcione servicios en Houston. Esto no tiene nada de diferente de cualquier otro caso de padres, de niños que viven con nosotros y que los padres viven en Houston.
Sí, y también yo he asistido a todas las citas. Solamente la semana pasada no contestaba los mensajes, pues no sabía ni qué estaba pasando. También, de hecho, pues el link me lo acaban de pasar. No me habían notificado nada de eso.
I've only just gotten the link. I had not gotten the link as to where this was. The social worker only gave me the link last week, so I didn't know where I was supposed to go. I have not missed any appointments except one week before last, because I didn't know where I had to, where the services were going to take place.
That's fine. Y'all, Ms. Paylor, which case are you on, ma'am?
Your Honor, I'm here for this case. I couldn't get logged in on any of my DFPS equipment, so I'm just using my personal phone.
Okay, thank you. And who do you work for the department?
I work for DFPS. I am the program director in the Williamson County area, so I'm here with the worker. Yes, ma'am.
I just didn't know who you were, so I wasn't sure. I need to make sure.
Yo no sabía quién era usted.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Baker, our department, does Ms. Gonzalez have a service plan?
Ms. Milloway.
From what I understand, mom has a service plan, but dad does not.
So do you want, can I jump in really quick? Because I've been taking over this case or overseeing this case. So up until now, this case has not officially has not been transferred to the Funsaba CPS area. So all the work that it has been done up until now has been with Williamson County. So I don't think she's going to have the most up-to-date information in regard to this case. Dad does have a service plan. We have set something up on the basis of the umbrella of services for now. Yes, it is individualized. The thing is that this case has not been transferred to Funsaba CPS yet.
Ms. Rodriguez, have y'all had a family group conference?
We have not. We tried to set it up, and Mrs. Camilla wanted something in person. So we were in the middle of like whether we were going to do it in San Saba or we were doing it in Williamson County. Then we found out that the court was it was changed twice from July the 10th to June the 18th to today. So we've just had a whole lot of things where we were in, I guess, in confusion as to, we didn't know if mom wanted to do that FGC in person. She wanted all the attorneys involved. I wasn't receiving any emails from the attorneys because they had my email wrong. So it's just been a whole lot of miscommunication, but we've already been in the works talking about it. So we can have a date planned out. If that's what is ordered, we can get that done as soon as possible.
So that being said, I think the best thing to do is to reset this case for our next hearing in San Saba, which is in a month. And then I'll tell y'all more in a minute. Mr. Leone, you can pass that on. That gives the department time to have a family group conference, and Mr. time to call Houston to see if they'll accept this case.
Y como respecto a la niña, no se puede mover con los familiares de Houston pues es que mi mamá se va a tener que regresar a a México y no puede estar cuidando a la niña y entonces mi cuñada se le va a complicar.
I mean, the issue, this is complicated for my sister-in-law because my mother is going back to Mexico, and that makes it hard for anybody to assist my sister-in-law with the care of the child. My mother will be going back to Mexico.
I'm going to say placement as agreed by CPS and Atlantis.
Sorry.
Ya cuentan con fotos de la casa, también con la licencia de el esposo de.
They've already gotten the pictures of the driver's license of the child's aunt and the husband of who does drive. I don't know what other information I could provide.
I'd like to add that a home study has already been submitted. The biggest issue that we encountered with that placement that she is requesting is that the uncle has a Florida driver's license. However, he travels out of town quite so often, and the aunt does not have a valid driver's license. So we got a certain person, another person that would be there for emergencies, who is the neighbor. We have not run background check on her as we did not have this information until yesterday evening. Now, the reason...
La trabajadora social ya me había comentado que había hecho la revisión de...
Stop.
Espere, señora, espere.
Miss Gonzalez, do not talk anymore until somebody asks you a question. This is
Señora
what
González, no
talking
hable
to
más.
Rodriguez.
Okay?
Se corta mucho la voz.
No haga
Okay.
clear.
What else, Miss Rodriguez?
From what we know, the background checks on the residents in the home came back clean. And our biggest issue is that there was a court order in Williamson County that we could not move this child until the status hearing, even if it were to be a preliminary home assessment or if it was approved. And the placement can no longer be a placement. They've already informed us. They haven't put in their month yet, but they don't have anybody to take care of this child. There are no daycares in that area and no other relatives who would be willing to help.
Okay. Sounds to me like this is all even better reasons to have a family group conference. And Mr. Fowler do his CFE thing, trying to locate family and relatives, ASAP. So that being said, now it's my court order that placement can be as agreed by the department and CPS.
Okay.
No, department and Atlantis. Sorry, ding dong.
That's okay. Okay,
No,
thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
¿Cómo? No entendí.
I didn't understand. Ahorita,
Ms. Gonzalez, we'll talk more after court and I'll explain everything.
Okay. Sí, es que hay muchas cosas como que no comprendo bien.
there's a lot of things that I don't quite understand.
Miss San Miguel, do you need Mr. Leon to go to a breakout room with you when you get done?
No, I'm fine. We've been communicating.
Mr. Baker, what else do you need today?
Ms. Rodriguez, I need your contact information. Can I obtain that from Morgan Milloway?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll be calling you if you don't mind.
No, I don't. Please do.
Okay, thank you. No, Judge, for now, I'm okay.
Department folks, do y'all know why let me back up. When y'all had the adversary hearing, was Miss Gonzalez living in San Saba or Houston? Wait,
In San Saba.
Wait, okay.
She was living in San Saba, yes.
Okay. Well, Miss San Miguel, make it real clear to Miss Gonzalez that we don't transfer cases just at the convenience of parents.
Sí, yo entiendo eso.
Perdón?
Yo entiendo.
She says she understands that, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Miss Willis, do you need anything besides information about your client?
Okay, thank you. That's all I need, Judge.
Do you want to go to a breakout room with Miss San Miguel and Miss Gonzalez after this hearing?
Sure.
Okay. And let's let Miss Rodriguez go too, because she's going to, or Miss Milloway, so they can learn something about the dad. And Mr. Fowler, you can go too.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Pablo, usted también puede ir, guys.
Okay. Miss San Miguel?
But I did find out about dad, and I did file a motion for transfer. And it's my understanding, I think both the transfer and a placement in Houston for the child is all agreed. And I kind of outlined the case started May 15th and then was supposed to be transferred, never got transferred because closing documents weren't filed. So that's why I was asking for a transfer to Houston, because if it wasn't even transferred to San Saba, plus it's a more convenient forum because there's no services in San Saba for Spanish speaking individuals. And then if both she and the child are both going to be in Houston, it just makes more sense for everything to be transferred to Houston, since the plan was not even set up in San Saba, plan was set up in Round Rock. But as far as dad, she said that dad was not on the birth certificate and that.
Hold on, stop. That's way too much for Mr. Leon to translate.
Sorry.
Let's get to dad, let him translate, then we'll come back to the dad.
Dad is not on the birth certificate, and there's no prior attorney general or child support or any other case.
Okay, I'm gonna say this one more time. Transfer is not mandatory. In this case, it's discretionary. I've had this many times. Just because a case is important in San Saba or Williamson County doesn't mean it's important in Harris County. Mr. Baker's gonna call Harris and see if they'll take the case. Because if they won't take the case, or, okay, I'll just say, go on. Because if we just send the case to the district clerk in Harris County and the county attorney doesn't pick it up, it's too much limbo. Not fair to mom, not fair to Dayan. So we'll have that determined by our next hearing. That's August 27th at 9:30 in the morning. Miss Abigail?
Yes. So mom and dad are no longer together. They broke up about a year ago. And she said that dad didn't even know that she was pregnant. So that's why I think there's two names that are mentioned. There's the Mr. Chavez, and then there's also an unknown dad. And so I think he may need a DNA test. So I think that information needs to be known while we're all in court, because I think he wasn't aware of the pregnancy.
Okay, well, I'm going to order DNA on Mr. Chavez because that's going to have to occur regardless if this case is here, Houston, Dallas, Round Rock, wherever. Okay. Mr. Wood, what do you need today?
Judge, I think everything's been hashed out. We do want to look at a possible transfer placement.
Well, y'all talk about some of the issues that Ms. Rodriguez talked about and see if we can work through those. If we can't get an agreement, we can have a quick, another hearing another day, before the August 27th date. We can figure that out.
Podría, o sea, ¿puedo hablar?
Go on.
Adelante, señora.
Podría ser que siguiera el caso en San Saba, simplemente que se colocara la niña con otro familiar, que en este caso vendría siendo con su tía en Houston, pero igual si se sigue el caso en la misma corte en San Saba, no hay ningún inconveniente, yo puedo venir. La niña no se movería, ella estaría en la casa con su tía.
If we were not moving the child, if the child were going to continue living, with her aunt, I could come to hearings in San Saba without a problem, says mom.
We'll figure it out.
Ya, ahorita vamos a llegar a una conclusión práctica.
Mr. Baker, do a notice of reset, please.
Yes, ma'am.
And everybody, I'll see y'all. I'll be in San Saba that day. Y'all can appear on Zoom if you want to, or you can come to San Saba. Y'all go on and get a family group conference set up ASAP, please.
Háganla.
Y entonces antes de esa fecha, ¿qué pasaría? ¿O se movería la niña o no?
What's going to happen prior to that date? Will the child be moved, or what's going to happen?
We'll discuss it after your visit today, after court.
Okay, lawyers, y'all need anything else, Casa?
¿Necesitan algo más?
Okay. Mr. Leon, you don't need to go to the breakout room, okay? Because Nina and Joanne speak Spanish. They can let Casa and department know what mom says.
Very well done.
But we appreciate you coming. Yes, Miss Abigail?
I don't need the breakout room either, because I can talk to her afterwards, because I know she has a planned visit with her child that she hasn't seen in a while, so I don't want her to visit, and she's on the road a couple minutes away from a meeting with Miss Rodriguez, but I will ask her contact information about dad and pass it along to Miss Willis.
I have this. I'm sorry. I'll let the translator jump in.
En breve.
And I'll call her after lunch, after the visit is over.
Am I
Yes.
muted?
No, you're not muted.
Okay, it said I was, okay. You can just send me the information that you have. You already emailed me, so that's a group text, but just send me a private text. And anything else you know about them.
I know I've talked to Dad already. Mom and Dad, from what I know, they're not broken up, but I'll give you all that information. Address, corrected phone number, all that stuff for Dad. Yeah.
I thought somebody said that Mom and Dad broke up about a year ago.
Yes,
He
my
knew
client, that's what my client said.
One at a time, Mr. Leon has to translate.
No.
We are not together.
Okay. Well, y'all can figure it out. So, okay. We'll see y'all August 27th, if not before then.
Entonces, nos vemos el 27 de agosto, si no es que antes. Muchas gracias.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. This is our permanency hearing. Mom's not here. I couldn't remember if she was, I think she's back in jail. Dad is still in TDCJ. Bailey Grace Blake is with her paternal grandparents in Burnett area, doing well. You know, we're set for trial. Our dismissal date's coming up. Everything's going down pretty quick. I would think that we might be able to get an agreement in this case. So, Mr. Baker, you may begin, please.
Thank you, Judge. I'll call Jess Mystic. Miss Mystic, can you let us know where we're at on this case and what we need prior to trial, please?
So I'm just submitting the permanency care package. I'm having the caregivers go ahead and get all that signed up or signed and filled out and everything. So I should have that paperwork back this week, and I'll go ahead and get that submitted so we can get that ball rolling.
Okay, and is the placement currently waiting to fulfill their 6-month obligation for PCA benefits?
Yes, that's correct.
How long do we have until that happens, until we hit that mark?
I think the 6-month mark is next month, August 23rd or something.
Okay. And the department, it's the department's position that that the current placement should be named the permanent managing and servitor of the child, I should say.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. But other than the 6-month thing, there's no hold up for resolution of this case?
No.
Okay. Judge, I don't know if we need a mediation or if I don't think this case has been mediated, but I know we're in an extension. I just got this case a couple of days ago, so and I've never appeared on it before. So
yeah, I wrote down mediation or agreement, but I don't know if we can get mediation done.
I think Mom may actually be. I think Mom may actually be in TDC at this point, but I'm not sure about that.
She is.
Okay. So both parents are in TDC, so that may prove difficult for a mediation or an agreement at that, for that matter.
But then flip side, what are we going to do with them about trial? You know, we're going to have to do bench warrant. You know, what are we going to do about that?
Mm-hmm.
Lawyers, have any of y'all, Mr. Howard's not here, he's getting on a plane, he's excused. Ms. Boshears, Ms. Fowler, do y'all know if Ms. Bennett has talked to Ms. Blake?
Yes, ma'am. We went to the jail to visit her when she was still in Burnett County and discussed with the possibility that Michelle and her husband would be given PMC under the PCA umbrella, and any kind of contact would be at their discretion. And she 100% agreed with that.
And father won't dispute that. That's his parents.
Right. And they're licensed now. So
If parents attorneys can sign off, I think we could just circulate agreed orders.
yeah, let's try that. And if worse comes to worse, if we need to call it and recess to get, to get a little bit more signatures, we can do that too. I don't want a grand extension because we don't need to. Yeah.
Already in an extension, Judge, and that's what I was gonna say
Oh, yeah.
today was
Oh,
we
yeah.
may just, we may need to call it and recess it just because I think it's maybe just like a few days in between when they hit their 6-month mark and the dismissal date.
Okay. The placement you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, dismissal is 9/7, trial is 8/27. So let me order that the county attorney's offices to circulate an agreed order. How's that? And I don't think we're going to need a court reporter on 8/27. It doesn't sound like. Bailey Grace doing well, y'all? Grandparents need any particular orders today? No?
No.
Mr. Baker, you need anything?
No, Judge, I'll get an agreed order, proposed
Okay.
agreed order drafted and circulated to everybody.
Okay. Ms. Fowler, good to see you. You need anything?
No, Your Honor.
Thanks. You had a hard job filling in today, huh? You need more like this. Okay.
Just a warm body for today with the bar card.
That's all right. Okay, Mr. Howard, I excused him. He doesn't need anything. Mr. Bidler, y'all need anything?
No, ma'am. Going great.
Mr. Wood?
All is well, Judge.
Okay. Okay, well, let's just say county attorney circulate agreed order, everything continue, final trial 8/27. Okay? Thank y'all. Good news. Mr. Baker, easy case for you today.
That one.
Yeah,
The
that's true.
first one
And
was-
FY, the situation we talked about last night, the number one choice
Yeah.
is a go.
Okay.
So everything's good. Okay, well, bye. We'll see everybody in Mills County next. Bye, San Saba.
Bye.
That just leaves Mr. Baker, Mr. Baker, Mr. Bidler. Y'all are gone. Mr. Wood. Mr. Cooley, do you know where Mr. Vocal is?
I don't, Your Honor. I can tell you that I have sent him lengthy communications, but I haven't heard from him.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for being such a rag in that other case, but that's just the way it goes. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, ma'am. You and I are on the same page.
Good. We're set for trial today. We have to go on, call it, excuse me, and then recess to our next setting. Is the problem from reading the reports, sounds like Emma's, really doing well with Miss Harriman, and that's the plan. But are we having a glitch because Mr. Vocal wants his, I can't remember if it's cousin, I think it's cousin, that other lady to be placement? Is that the problem?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have anybody heard from her?
Yes, she contacted me months ago with her information. But at that time, I did let her know that we didn't have any intention of moving Emma because she was, the family, the Harrimans, were identified originally by Mr. and Mrs. Vogel as fictive kin caregivers. So she's been with the Harrimans from day one and is, quite frankly, very bonded to them.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, it's my understanding that Mr. Vocal's out of jail, and Miss Henry, has he contacted you to begin any services?
He contacted me once after I was reaching out to him. And I was trying to set up a day to go and see him in Goldthwaite and get him going on services, which we had talked about when I was visiting him in jail. And at that time, he told me he was not going to meet me, and he did not feel like any further communication from me was even need it, that it was pointless because CPS was going to kidnap his child anyways, he was going to lose his rights. So it didn't matter. So yeah, he was going to decline any further contact. It just didn't make sense to him.
Okay.
So I still told him what time I was going to be there, the day that I was going to be there, and said if he changed his mind, just to call me and we could meet in a public space. And he hasn't.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
Anybody else heard from him? No. Okay.
I can tell you, Your Honor, that Ms. Weatherman has been in constant contact with me. She tried to hire a lawyer. I don't know if she didn't have the money or what the deal was, but you know, they're still out there, and she wants to keep the child in the family, but you know, it's not happening.
Right. I totally understand that. But it's interesting that at the beginning of the case, both mom and dad chose Miss Harriman. You know, to me, I don't know. I thought Miss Harriman and Miss Vocal, y'all are just good friends, right? Okay. I didn't think y'all were related, but like Miss Henry said, y'all are fictive kin. And, you know, we try to do family first, but, you know, if Mr. Vocal didn't have any say in the original placement or something like that, I could maybe understand it a little bit, but, I don't really understand it now. I mean, and another thing, you know, it's not fair for that lady to have to do all the fighting on her own. Where the heck is he? You know? So anyway, Mr. Howard's not here today. He was, I excuse him because he was getting on a plane. So, I think, Mr. Hale, are you comfortable with the testimony that we presented today, just to recess the case, or do you want to call Ms. Henry and say your name, you know, all that kind of blah, blah? What do you want to do?
Well, you know, my first witness was going to be Mr. Vocal, and he is not here. So I'm okay just to recess if that's what the court is inclined to do, and a reset.
Yeah, we have to recess because we're going to be past the dismissal date. Ms. Miller, are you comfortable with the testimony that Ms. Henry has provided today for a recess?
Your Honor, I am. No objection.
Okay. Mr. Cooley, are you okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Wiggum, anything you'd like to add for Ms. Emma? She doing well today?
And so last time I visited Emma, she was doing pretty well. I got to visit her in the Vocal home. And so I don't have anything further to say about that. What I will say is last time that we spoke to Mr. Vocal in jail, we spoke to him just a few days prior to his release, and he refused to have any kind of contact with us outside of his release from detainment.
Outside is what? I'm sorry, I didn't understand you.
Oh, sorry. So he refused to have any kind of contact with us after his release from detainment. And so he wouldn't give us any kind of contact information and wouldn't really tell us what his plan was after.
Okay. Well, there you go. Ms. Wiggum, is the plan still what I talked about, custody to Ms. Harriman?
Yes, and so from all the information I've been given, that's the plan that's still going forward, and we're in full support of it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, well, we called 2 witnesses, so we are going to recess this case, the trial, I'm sorry, until 8/27/24. Okay?
8/27, you said?
8/27, yeah, that's our next court date. Okay?
Okay. And Judge, just for the record, Your Honor, I did ask for the de-identified record, and I think that Ms. Milloway said it was in the works and we'd be getting it.
Do you need an order to that effect, Mr. Cooley, or you? I mean, if you already talked about it, I don't think they're going to screw you around.
Right. No, I'm just making it clear that I've made the request, and
okay. Well,
I wish that people didn't have to jump through a bunch of hoops, but I'm afraid that's the situation we find ourselves in.
Okay, I'm just going to go on and put it in the order just so it covers you a little bit too. De-identified file provided to attorneys 1 week before trial.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, anybody else? Okay, thank you, Mr. Cooler, you're excused. Everybody else that's on vocal, y'all on the bosses, y'all hang around.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, have a good day. I'll see you soon, I think.
I hope so.
Okay, our other case, okay. I think I had the same people. I think everybody was sworn on the vocal case. Mr. Wood, where's Mr. Cavazos?
Judge, I have this calendared for 1 o'clock, so I failed to notify him, but I mean, he would be here if I had notified him.
Okay. Yeah, no, I have a death in the family, so I had to change a bunch of stuff because our calendar went all over the place. So I think it's okay because I think that, I mean, I read the report. So this is a permanency hearing. We're in a monitored return with Abigail is with Miss Vocal in Goldthwaite. I mean, from reading the report, sounds like she's rocking along, happy to be there, hanging out at the coffee shop, hanging out with her friend. I think that we were about to start doing some, we had a stay-at-home chill period to get used to back to the monitor return, but we're about to start doing our visits with Dad again. We're doing counseling. She's doing her counseling. That's good. The counselor thinks she needs to continue in counseling. I thought everything sounded positive. Sure was hoping Mr. Cavazos was doing his visits and getting his visits, and Abigail realizes that she needs to go see her dad and have a relationship with her dad. And you know, I mean, I know they have different parenting skills, but you know, that's just the way. So does my house. So does all y'all's houses. That's just the way it is. So, Mr. Hale, what do you need today?
Ms. Henry, anything we need as far as court orders today, or we're just going forward as is?
No, sir, everything just as is. And I will say that Mr. Cavazos did get his first visit already over this past weekend. And it went well. He and Adrian did communicate effectively so that they could work something out that worked well for Abby. I will say, even though we haven't had a chance to get them into therapy, both of them have been willingly communicating, and Adrian has been really great about staying in contact with Mr. Cavazos and even inviting him over to have dinner and trying to support that relationship. So I'm really proud of both parents and the work that they've put into making sure Abby's needs are met and putting her best interest ahead of their own. So no, nothing at this time. I think they're doing great.
Good, thank you. Anybody have any questions of Ms. Henry? No?
I do not.
Okay. Mr. Hale, any more witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Miller, any witnesses?
I do not have any witnesses, Your Honor. I would ask something, well, I have something for a final order. I don't know whether we're looking at doing a final in September or waiting until November.
Well, let me ask this. Do y'all think we need to go to mediation? Do y'all think we can work this out? What do y'all think? I'm kind of feeling mediation.
That would probably be helpful. I mean, my question pertains to child support, and I would need some new updated income figures from Mr. Wood. And so I think that would be helpful to get that before we go to mediation, because that is one of the things that needs to be resolved and that I was going to ask prior to a final hearing.
Okay. Okay, let me go back to Ms. Henry real quick. Ms. Henry, our next hearing is, our next meals date is 8/27. I don't think we need to come back then. That's probably too early. Do y'all department think that we can move, dismissal date's 12/15. Do y'all think we could move the final trial till our 9/24 date?
I think so.
Miss Vocal, I know what you think. Be quiet. Yeah, department, what do you think?
Yes, ma'am. I think it's possible. I think that the family is in a good place.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to order that Mr. Cavazos is to provide family code required child support information to Ms. Miller by 9/1/24. Oh, Yeah, I think that's okay, because y'all, well, let me move it up a little bit. 8, let's just say 8, what's today? The 23rd, 8/23. Okay. Okay, mediators. Let's talk about that. I know Russ mediates in Mills County. Russ, Michelle Cummings, Kurt Fulk, Emily Millercant, Carl Prohl, Randy Robinson, Andrew Thompson, Courtney Wheeler, Catherine McAnally, Fran Brockstein.
Be happy with Mr. Baker.
Who did vocal? Russ? Well, that just makes
yes.
sense. Okay. Mr. Wood, you good with that?
Yes, Judge. And I don't know how to get this, but I think Mom has been receiving child support throughout this case from Dad. And I'm pretty sure we have that amount, but we'll have to calculate that into our final agreed order.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for when she wasn't supposed to get it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Need anything, Mr. Wood? I maybe already asked you that. I forgot.
No, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Wiggum? Everybody's good? Abigail's good?
What's the date by which we need to mediate, Your Honor? Just by the final hearing?
Say the trial by 9/24.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Casa, y'all need anything?
No, ma'am. We're all in agreement.
Okay, good. Okay, Ms. Vogel, you know you have a service plan. You have to comply, or your parental rights could be subject to termination, okay? We're going to move this up to try to finish it on 9/24. Mr. Hale, I'm going to go in and get a court reporter. I don't know. I think y'all will settle, don't y'all think?
Yeah.
Seems pretty close to me.
Yeah, I forgot. I am going to need a court reporter for this one, though. Yeah, I'm not going to get a court reporter. I'm not going to worry about it. They're not easy to find, and I think that we'll be able to work this one out. So, yeah, okay. But I will get a court reporter for the vocal trial.
Yes, we need one for that, I think.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, Ms. Vogel, you're going to hopefully get out early, so I don't screw it up between now and then, because we got a lot of time still. We could stay in if we need to. Okay.
No, ma'am, I won't be messing anything up. And as much as I love seeing you all the time, I
know. I'm going to go start coming to meals at some point in time, so you can see me at the coffee shop when I come in.
Yes, please.
Tell Abigail that, you know, she needs to, Miss Wiggum, you too. I mean, she needs to have a relationship with her dad, you know?
And the whole thing with Randy, this has been going on long before any of these things happened. Right. And I mean, I've enlisted Papa, my dad, who she listens to about her. I've enlisted Mom, my grandma, or her grandma. I've had Sarah talk to her. My brother talked to her. It's something, I mean, I don't go around bashing Randy to my child. I don't think that's good for children to hear things like that. So it's something they have to work out, and I have tried. I do believe she needs her dad. And I believe that if he just threw his hands up and said, well, bye then, she'd be devastated. It would hurt her, but, you know, she doesn't make it easy on him. And I do try.
Okay.
But,
well, and tell her that the judge is going to make her, you know. So, I mean, she's 12. She doesn't have, you know, everybody thinks that you're right not to go to visitation. What is it? What's the age now, Miss Miller? I hadn't done family law other than the 14. What's the age now you can pick your managing conservator? 14. Okay, you know, it changed back and forth when I was a real lawyer. It changed. I could change back and forth, but you know, that's just picking who you live with, and you know, technically you're supposed to do visitation, but you know, technically children get kind of cruddy if you make them do visitation. You know, Mr. Cavazos could come to some of her events and do some of that stuff. That would be.
He's always been invited, and we plan birthday parties together. I mean, the only time we've ever had a lack of communication was this past year.
Well, I wonder why. You know, I got that. So yeah, I got that. Okay. Well, anybody, Mr. Wood, make sure he gives Ms. Miller that, or gives you that info so you can forward it to Ms. Miller. Mediation, Mr. Hale, let Mr. Baker know. I'll prepare mediation order in just a sec. And Ms. Trinidad will send it to you when she gets back. And we're good.
Okay.
Okie doke. Okay, we're going off of
It's hard to keep
YouTube for a
track of
little
all
bit
my
until I have
reading
another
glasses,
hearing.
So
See, I finally
A
got
lot.
the part, and I got the ones that have the 3 different layers. So this one I can drive with, this one I can look at my computer with, and this one I can read with.
I like to use this one as a headband as well.
And Teresa doesn't even need glasses. She's so young. Her eyes are so.
Oh, she's got them.
I was just gonna say, I was recommended to have those with the different the 2 levels, and I can't do it.
I can't get used to.
So I wear my contacts for driving, and then I wear my reading glasses when I need to read.
Like whenever your arm starts doing this, trying to read, that's when you need them.
I need longer arms.
Yep.
And look who's older than all of y'all, and I don't have reading glasses.
Look at you bragging.
That one, man.
She's living right.
She eats a lot of carrots.
And I don't dye my hair either. So, I'm good. Yeah.
You are good.
I know. I have good genes.
I gave up on
use it
dyeing
when I
mine.
drive occasionally, but that's it. That was thanks to law school, but that's okay. Let's see. Time to go. I think everybody's here. Let's see. Y'all, I don't have my file because this was set, like at the last minute. I see Mr. Barron. I don't see Mr. Payne. Let's see, Miss Potts. Who is Natalie Bennett today? Is that you, Miss? No, Miss Fleur, you're Miss Lang. Anybody know? Here's Mr. Payne. Let's see. Where's Nina Willis? She represents Mr. Payne, doesn't she? And Attorney Ed Latham.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Miss Lang told me that she's not going to be in today. There's supposed to be a substitute for her.
There is Miss McClure. She's here.
Okay.
So Nina, and who's the other one? Natalie Bennett. I'll text Michelle Boshier. Natalie Bennett's out of town. Truce will help you, Doc.
Yes, sure.
Okay. I read the emails. I know what's going on. I knew what was going on. Friday, Thursday, whatever the day was last week. Where are we today on place for the 3 kiddos? What's up, Ms. Cochran Green?
And Your Honor, I would ask that Karen and Teresa be able to give you an update on that since they're working with CPU and on the former placements.
Okay. Yeah, if y'all just want to tell me, I'd appreciate that.
Your Honor, a CPU request has been submitted requesting that all 3 of the children be placed together. We did receive confirmation that CPU is working on locating a placement for all 3 of the children together. We also received information that the ICPC home study has been approved. We are waiting on the written report, which we should receive either today or tomorrow for that home study approval.
And who was that on?
That was on the banks, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Karen.
No, Your Honor. I received a call from Rebecca Hightower. She's a home study contractor for Washington. She initiated the home study with Mr. and Mrs. Payne. It has been completed. She is recommending placement. She will do the full report and have it sent to our Texas ICPC office for review, and then it'll trickle down to my PD, Mrs. Taylor, and my supervisor, Mrs. Donnell, for review and acceptance.
Ms. Gayoso, was that a home study for just the paying children or for all three children?
It was really initiated only for Raymond and Savannah, only because we had sent out another ICPC. A contractor had reached out to Linda and Stephen Banks, but they went on a vacation, Your Honor, to Italy. And when they returned, they're working toward their finalized home study. So theirs hasn't been completed yet, but Mrs. Hightower said it was for the two older children for the Payne's residents.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, well, I'm, obviously we're not going to do any change of placement right now, but I do need to have the ICPC circulated to everybody, including me, and I'm going to say no placement change without a court order.
Yes, Your Honor.
As much as I have to have hearings in this case, I should get to be order every single little move. So I'm not usually involved in that, but considering how litigious this situation is, I think that's just the best way to do it for right now. So, okay, so we got that. That's not a process that's going to happen today or tomorrow either. Plus, that still defeats my hope right now. That still defeats my keeping all three of the children together goal. So, I don't have to worry about that today. So, where are the kids right now?
Your Honor, the kids are currently with the Paynes. I am scheduled to fly in on Friday to visit all three children. Right now, I've been speaking to Mrs. Payne as well as Mrs. Banks. They returned from their vacation. The Banks did. They did have COVID. Mrs. Banks is recovering through some, congestion and some other issues from the COVID. And so she has been going to the Payne's residence, Your Honor, for the last 4 days, helping Mrs. Payne address the needs of the children, supervising visits with Mr. Banks, so he can have supervision with his child, Mitchell. So both families are working collectively together, Your Honor. So it's a fluid transition, and that both sets of parents, which is Mr. Payne, Gavin Payne, as well as Mr. Mitchell Barron, gets to have access to their children on designated times.
Okay.
Morning. Good, are you?
Okay. Okay. Ms. Gayoso, how are the kids doing?
They're doing good, Your Honor. I talked to them earlier today. I'm sorry. I talked to them earlier today.
Okay.
I have spoken to both Linda and Stephen Banks, as well as Jerry and Kimberly Payne. The kids are transitioning nicely into the residence. They've had some behavior issues with all three kids.
Right.
That's kind of normal, a progression. Raymond did an outcry with Dr. Banks. There was a CAC screening. I did speak to Officer Reeser regarding that, Your Honor. I've reached out to Agata as well as Jennifer. They are subpoenaing all records from Dr. Banks as well as the CAC screening to determine what's going on. And the kids seem to be settling every day nicely. There's still disruptions, but like I indicated earlier, Your Honor, I am going and visiting the family on Friday. So I can see both residents, the Banks, as well as the Paynes, which I'm already familiar with that residence. So I can see and talk to the kids privately. But they were pretty happy today when I spoke to them, Your Honor. And so the court is just, I'm sorry, excuse me, the department is keeping in touch by all these text messages from the Paynes as well as the Banks and talking to the families privately.
Okay. So, Ms. Gayoso, what do you think we should do, like right now?
Your Honor, I think that allow us to get the formal home study request back so everybody can view it. In the interim, allow me to go visit the family, both sets of families, and talk to the kids, and see if we can determine if the placement is appropriate for the kids to remain in Washington after reviewing the home study report. And I do have a return flight scheduled, Your Honor, for me to pick up the kids August the 7th. That was the deadline that you had recently reported. And if something changes before August the 7th, Your Honor, then obviously I can make airline reservations for me and the kids to return back to Texas. But we do need to give everybody the opportunity to read the report, have and answer questions, and ensure that the kids remain in a safe environment. Right now, we've got 2 shelters. I know I spoke to yesterday the shelter for Savannah, which is Table of Grace, and they did have some significant issues with Savannah the week prior to me placing the kids on a visit with the grandparents June the 28th. And they just feel that, she probably does need some therapy services, but if the home study is appropriate, Your Honor, we can get that through the state of Washington. If we have to move the kids, we can also get it at a foster home. We're trying to get all 3 kids together. And that's our goal, as what you had court ordered on Friday. The department is working both directions.
Okay. Okay, so you're just recommending stay on hold.
I think that's the best approach. These kids have been moved. There's been a lot of transition for them. As you are aware of, Your Honor, the kids were placed into emergency shelters due to the great-grandmother being sick and hospitalized. So the more we move these kiddos, the more detrimental it would be on their mental health. So I think just to keep them in one location until we make a final decision, Your Honor, I think that's the best approach.
Okay. Okay. Who else wants to say something? Ms. Boshears.
Yes, ma'am. Judge, I did want to let you know, I spoke to Becky Lane yesterday, who represents Mr. Barron. She indicated that Linda Banks and her husband would like to further have discussions about the home assessment. So I did speak to them for about 40 minutes this morning. They indicated that they are not fully on board for being placement for Mitchell, for the child that is related to them, potentially long-term, but they would still like to move forward with their ICPC for respite, where if like Kim and Jerry, if they were to receive placement, that they could take a break Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where they could assist with one or multiple of the children. But to say that they want long-term placement, that is no longer 100% the case at this point in time. Just their work schedule, travels, taking care of other family members. They just don't think that they can do that long-term.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Boshears. That's good information.
Honor, I can elaborate on that as well. I did speak to Linda and Stephen Banks as well. They want to finalize their home study. They want to be respite, like Mrs. Bosher has stated. But Mrs. Banks has been going over, as well as Mr. Banks, to the Payne's house. And these 2 families are working really well together, ensuring that the needs of their kids are being met, and both fathers are getting supervised visits. So I think this is a good positive move on both families.
Yeah, no, I think that the way it's been going up there has been sounding pretty well, pretty good. Okay. Ms. Potts, I know your mom wants your kids back. I know all that. Yeah.
No, Your Honor, that really wasn't what I was going to say, because I do know you know that. But I did want to say that there's 2 concerns. One is she's only had 3 video visits, and I know the court has ordered twice that there be 2 visits a week. And last time she ordered specific days, and that day was changed. So she hasn't had her visit yet this week.
Why was it changed?
I don't know, Your Honor, and I don't know why they're not occurring, and I don't know why they're being changed. I just know that she's asking and asking for visits, and it's not happening. And it's not happening despite 2 court orders. And this is why while the children are with the Paynes. The other thing that was of concern to Mom in particular was that the children are not in therapy. And that was also court ordered. And I think the concern is that it is difficult to find it up there where they are in that area. But we've had all of these outcries, and a big part of the reason why she agreed to this whole process was the benefit of having her children in therapy and having someone that they can talk to and someone that they can trust. And we just don't have that independent person yet. So those are my 2 comments. That's all.
If mom doesn't get a visit on her day, she gets to do it the next day. Okay, so we're going to do that. About the therapy, they're not going to be able to do therapy up there. I don't want them to do therapy up there. When we all started this visit, I thought therapy was going to be able to be online, but that was because that's not able to happen because the kids aren't at that placement. So, therapy up there starting now would be stupid if they were to come back to Texas. And I don't think that we could even find them a therapist that's going to take the insurance that the children are on here in Texas. So that's a couple of things. The other thing is the children need therapy. Yeah, but the children have probably been needing therapy before this case started. So, with all this back and forth garbage in this family, they've been needing therapy since they were born. So, I'm not going to lose any sleep over the children missing any therapy until they are in a stable, all together kind of environment, be it up there or be it down here. It's just, and getting 3 children as busy and as active as these kids are to do any therapy via Zoom would have just been dumb. So, Ms. Bashir, you had your hand raised. Mr. Payne, you have a lawyer. We go through your lawyer.
I was just going to say, David Fowler and myself had an opportunity to observe a visit with mom. I want to say it was Wednesday night of last week. It was 9:30 at night, our time, all the way. I think David and I got off the phone at 10:15, but mom was driving, and I guess in between where she lives and where she works, you could barely understand what she was saying. She would freeze. So I do think it probably is better to get mom's visitation scheduled on a day that she has off, where she's not commuting, where we're not all just sitting there in silence and the kids are going, Mom, are you there? Are you there? The placement's asking, are you there? And then we can't tell her if she's being able to engage or not. And not that 7:30 is late. Some of the kids that play sports don't get home until 8 o'clock, but it's just there's too much downtime. If it's when mom's traveling back and forth, it was not a productive visitation at all.
Well, and you know how I get it. You know how I don't like people to be driving during court. It's about the same difference, I think. If you can see your kids, you need to be totally concentrated on visiting with your children. Miss Potts, when are good days? Tell me.
I would have to ask my client for her good days. Miss Heidi, can you tell us 2 good days and times that can be consistent for a visit?
I cannot. I am now currently working 6 days a week due to we just lost a manager. So that's gonna be like that for at least a couple weeks. And today I'm off. Next week it could be a different day. I can talk to my boss when I see him tomorrow and give you an update on it and see what he can do. Most of the days I close, so I would go in at noon our time and be off at 9:15 our time. I know 2 days out of the week I open, which I would be at work from 7:15 in the morning until 5 o'clock. I can ask for a consistent schedule. I can't guarantee it. But I can see what I can do. I can ask him. He's been very flexible during this for me, which is not common for the organization I work for AutoZone. So I can see what I can do, and I can let you know tomorrow when I speak to my manager.
Miss Heidi, what is the latest time you get off work?
9:15.
And then she drives from Lampasas. Miss Heidi, when is your lunch hour?
It changes depending on what shift I have.
Do lunch during the summer. Kids are all over the place in the summer. That's not fair to anybody. Miss Heidi, okay, you get off at 9:15. That's 7:15 there. Okay, here's number one. I'm gonna give you a visit tonight to make up for when you missed last week. Okay,
thank you.
Get your visit at 7:30 tonight. I'm gonna keep the visits on the days because if they're at 7:30 their time, 9:30 our time, just pull over. Don't be talking to your kids while you're driving anyway. There's a lot. I go to Lampasas. It's one of my counties. there's dead spots between here and there.
Right.
Ms. Payne, what do you want to say real quick? You're muted.
Yes, Your Honor. We have tried to do the late night visits with the children. They do BMX bike riding on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we were thinking that it would really be perfect to have them be at the office at 12:30 during my husband's lunch hour, 12:30 to 1. Jerry has a great idea of just letting them sit, eat their lunch, visit with mom, and it would be more productive. They won't be so tired.
Okay. And what days is that on, ma'am?
Well, we scheduled with Emily, which she did not tell you, tomorrow at 12:30. We have a visit scheduled at 12:30.
12:30.
And she agreed to that. She did agree to that.
Your time or my time?
My time, 12:30. Be probably 2:30 your time, I guess. But that's during our office hours. And so our office is closed then. So it's just perfect to get them all three together on a Zoom call instead of trying to hold a phone running all over the place. It really is. Michelle's correct. It did not work with Linda. She was distraught during that call. It was horrible.
Miss Heidi, how are you going to be able to do that if you're working during the day?
They just spurred it on the moment of me for that day for Wednesday. I can try and take my lunch early, but I'm going to be at work, and I specified that in my text message to Linda. I'm going to be at work during that time period.
Linda said you agreed to it, and it was perfect.
I start work at noon that day, and I don't get off until 9:15.
What time? Okay, I get all confused on time zones. Noon here is what there? 10 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
Your Honor, it's a 2-hour difference from Texas time to Washington time.
So, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to let Miss Heidi visit tonight. And let's do one day noon, or 12:30. So that'll be, what'd you say, 2:30 our time?
Correct.
I should be able to be on lunch. I should be able to be on lunch that time. I can ask my manager.
Okay. One day, let's just keep to 7:30, and that's the kids 7:30, so that's our 9:30, right? So we'll do that. Split the difference. So the kids are only tired one day, mom's only inconvenienced one day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And maybe this won't go on and on forever, so that's okay.
So Monday tonight at 7:30.
Today's Tuesday, though, I think.
Oh, Tuesday, excuse me. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so the kids will miss their BMXing. That's the only thing I was trying to get.
It's on Tuesday?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, yeah.
Oh, we don't want them to miss that.
I know. Trust me, they love it.
Mom's off today.
Well, we could do it right now. I mean, literally, we could do it right now after the call. Do you want to do that, Emily?
That's fine with me, Kim.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. And then
that sounds perfect.
I'll have to do your own Zoom. My Zoom's going to go away, but
that's okay. We'll get it worked out.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That'll work. And then the other one will be during the day.
Yeah, tomorrow or Wednesday. Well, we have it scheduled actually for Wednesday, which she can do Wednesday because we have it scheduled. 2 days in a row will be fine with you, Emily?
As long as I'm able to get off during that time period to be able to have it. I'm gonna talk to my boss in the morning at noon when I go in.
Keep us posted, honey. Just keep us posted.
Send me your number, Kim, so I can text you and let you know.
Okay.
Why don't I do this? Why don't I let y'all try to work this out? There's too many irons in this fire. Miss Heidi, you and Miss Payne, y'all work it out. Y'all are gonna have to communicate. Y'all are family because of the kids. Y'all figure it out. Which days are convenient?
We always have been accommodating with Emily.
And if it's not, if y'all can't work it out, Miss Boshier, she's going to tell y'all when it's going to happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
She can micromanage all this if need be. Okay.
I think we can do it.
So one during the day, one at night, not on a BMX day for the kids to have to miss their fun stuff. I don't like kids to have to miss stuff.
Yeah, they love it. So I don't mind doing even a Friday. Just this Friday. Jerry's usually exhausted after working, but then we can reschedule for that Monday let's just do Mondays at 7:30. Yeah.
Y'all talk about that without me. I don't care.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. So we got that worked out. That'll sound like a good plan. And Miss Heidi, don't drive. Pull over the side of the road if you have to. Don't be driving.
I'll just wait at my work until it's done. It's only 15 minutes.
Okay. Okay. What else, y'all? Okay, so now we got the visits worked out. See, ICPC circulated to everybody, including me. No placement change without court order. Everything else, all the other visitation orders remain in effect. I'm not going to worry. I'm going to forget about the counseling for now.
And Your Honor, since I'm going to be up on Friday, I'll give all the parents a phone call too with the kids. Okay. I'll supervise that.
That's great. So see everybody get an extra. No counseling until further court order. That's for the kids. Parents, y'all got to do still be doing your plan.
Your Honor, we do have the WISE program here. I've checked into it 3 different times. And again, like you said, they couldn't do it because of guardianship. But I did go there. I went there 3 times on to try to do that. Yeah.
Well, we'll worry about that if we have to do, And
David, I spoke with David. He said it's an excellent program for.
Yes, but the issue with the WISE program is it's 13 years of age and up. I looked for other programs that do TBRI therapy up there, and there's only very few providers in that area. You'd have to go to Spokane or Seattle and places like that. I'm going to try to reach back out to Maggie Bovenkamp at Healthy Families and see if she knows of any therapists in that area. Before we spoke at the beginning of the case, Maggie told me that there wasn't really any therapist providers in that area that specialize in some of the trauma these kids have had, especially Savannah.
Your Honor, I can elaborate. I also, like David, has really reached out to some of these service providers. Mr. Payne goes through a behavior therapy service provider, and we possibly, if the ICPC is approved and the court determines that the kids remain there during the duration of the case, they could simply provide therapeutic services. There is that component that Savannah would require intensive trauma therapy, but I think that with all of us collectively working together, I think we can maintain that if that is the future placement. But Your Honor, we have time to continue to look and verify to make sure that therapeutic services would be available in the state of Washington if placement is decided upon.
Okay, well, we're not going to worry about that today.
Yes.
Ms. Cochran-Green, what else do you need?
I believe that's it, Your Honor. I think you've touched all the high points.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Willis, what do y'all need?
Well, I'm just a little confused here. I just want to make sure. I thought that we also had a hearing that was scheduled tomorrow on this case, so I'd moved it from today to tomorrow, but maybe I just was multitasking.
Well, I know there's a bunch of stuff going on, and I had to even ask if a notice of sale was filed because I didn't know either, so don't worry about it.
Okay, so we have no hearing tomorrow.
I'm not around tomorrow.
Okay, I don't have anything with regard to this case. They've been pretty much radio silence on the other side, so.
Okay, thank you. Ms. McClure?
Yes, Ms. Lang wanted to make sure that her client, I don't think he's had all of the visits he was ordered to have during this visit up there. I think Mr. Payne has had all of his. I just want to make sure the court knows that Mr. Barron still has visits that he's owed, and that I just like assurance that he's going to get those.
That is not true. He has had all of his visits with me or with my husband and Mr. Banks. He's had all his visits. And they were good visits, positive visits.
So you get to figure that out when you're up there.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the other question I have, judges, and this is not, I'm just here today to fill in. I'm just wondering, I mean, if the ICPC for the Paynes is only for the 2 children, and if the Banks is only for the 1 child, and they don't want to be permanent, they just want to be respite, well, how is that going to work?
Right.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I was not missing something.
Nope, I got it. And mom's in Texas. A lot of stuff going on.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it. And Ms. McClure, you know what? Before we had 2 kids in one shelter, 1 kid on another shelter. So I said, no. That ain't going to happen anymore either.
Right.
So I'm on it.
Okay, just double checking.
Thank you. Sometimes I need to be reminded or kicked in the butt or something, but I got it. Yeah, this is a very complicated case. So yeah.
I did a family tree when I was trying to figure out what was going on, and it took 2 hours. So yes, ma'am.
I know. Hopefully we can go a week next week without having any hearings in this case, but I don't know if that's possible. So we'll see. Ms. Potts, you need anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Fowler?
Yes, Your Honor. Just the same thing, therapy at some point just need to be in the right therapy environment with the right therapist.
Well, they need to be stable and at one place before I begin anything.
Yes, Your Honor, I agree. And with school coming up soon.
Right. That's why we changed that visitation to give them a week to get back, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yep. So we'll see about that. It just floors me that I don't know if it's because of behavior or what. It just floors me that we can't get placement. I mean, I told y'all last week I have 2 Toriel cases, and the lady has like 7 or 6 kids, and another family has like 4, and they're all in the same placement together. And they're 2 unrelated cases. I don't get it. Ms. Boshears, what do y'all need?
Judge, I just wanted to tell you, I met with Jamie Dollar on Thursday of last week. She's the mother of Jay Dollar, Emily's boyfriend. She has again indicated that she's 100% on board for moving from her residence temporarily for as long as this case takes to move into Emily's residence as long as Emily and Jay vacate, which they have a different place to live. We have gone out there per the request to take photos, and I did send those to all parties, I believe, of the residents and changes that need to be made before the children could possibly be placed there, if that's an option. I just wanted to make sure that CPS was going to go out. I think David's already been out to see if that home is vetted and approved, and if anybody has also talked to Miss Jamie Dollar to make sure that all parties are aware that she is in. She has a plan for them riding the bus home, that how she's going to pick them up from school, a plan for therapy if she has to take them. I do believe her husband, who is a retired practicing attorney in Texas, he's not going to move with her. He's going to stay at their residence. I believe it's in Lytle, Texas. That's close to San Antonio. And they'll only be up on the weekends.
We have a ranch in Pearsall. It's close to Pearsall, Texas. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Ms. Miller's familiar with that area. Yes.
Okay, awesome. But she did say anybody that wants to call and talk to her, that she is 100% on board. At first, she thought it was only 6 months. Now she realizes it could be extended. And no matter how that looks, her only request was if for some reason the plumbing went bad or she needed the yard mowed, that there would be approval that Jay could come to the residence to take care of minor issues as long as the children were not present. So I just wanted to make sure that all parties were aware of that.
Okay, well, I'm going to order CPS and CASA to look at the home and confer with Jamie Dollar within a week.
Your Honor, I've been out there and I've conferred with Miss Dollar already.
Okay. Miss Donnell or Miss Galloso, y'all been, I know Miss Galloso's got her hands full, but she has a supervisor. She can do stuff while Miss Galloso's in Washington. Have y'all talked to Miss Dollar, been out to the house?
Your Honor, we have not, but I will certainly make contact with Miss Dollar this afternoon.
Okay. And, I mean, just saying, so we get a place. Okay. All together. Say we have a house, but the stuff isn't fixed up. If I was everybody in this case, that's family that lived in Texas, I'd be working my buns off to get that house up to par to make Miss Boshears and CASA and the department happy with the circumstances of the house. I know Miss Boshears is not unreasonable. I've been to her house. She's been to my house. Lots of people have been. I've seen lots of y'all's houses. I know she's not saying, oh, there can't be, crumbs on the floor. I mean, if Miss Boshears thinks it needs to be done, Miss Bennett does, then I think it needs to be done. So, and I just distinctly remember one of the things that was in the removal affidavit that didn't like about the house, but that's hopefully ancient history by now. So, okay, parents, y'all have service plans. You have to comply with your parental rights be subject to termination. Does anybody know off the top of their head when our next real statutory court date hearing is set for? Because I said I don't have my file.
I know it's in September sometime, Your Honor.
Okay, well, I'm sure I'll be seeing you before then. So
I can look it up if you want.
I
remember you distinctly saying 9-3.
9-3. Okay, that sounds good.
That's what I have, Judge. 9-3.
A lot of us go to advanced family law in a couple of weeks, and there are not going to be any hearings during advanced family law. Just saying. So everybody just chill for a while during that period of time. Okay. Thank y'all. Worked out well.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.